Oh, hey guys, how's it going? Crusty old crow, back here in Ottawa. What is today? Sunday? Feels like a Sunday. It's a Sunday. Ah, geez, I can't get that going in the background. That's just gonna be too loud and too distracting. Yeah, it's a tactical perspective, custom creation completion video, guys. I finished off Bull. I took my time. I wish I had taken longer. So this is just going to be a quick video that just talks about where we started to where we ended up. I'm not going to waste time showing you all the progress pictures and whatnot. You guys have been kind of watching it as it goes, as I've been doing it in other videos. So I'm just going to kind of just talk a little bit about the lessons I learned, because this was my first time doing a G.I. Joe type conversion, a 6-inch figure of any type kind of conversion. I was used to doing it on little Warhammer scale figurines, bit swaps, custom jobs, a little bit of tampering, and a whole lot of reward with that. And they are quick and dirty. I found this a lot more painstaking and challenging, and a lot more fun and rewarding. So what am I talking about for those of you new to the channel? And thank you for joining the channel. I am talking about Bull. He is this custom G.I. Joe Canadian attachment I had, because I was upset that G.I. Joe doesn't have any Canadians on it. Most notably, their biggest ally, as far as that goes, as off-the-shelf knowledge, is our Russian, the Soviet Union-esque October Guard. And I was always like, well, wait a second. How come Canada doesn't get any representation, but the other side of the world does? So I went out and I tracked down a McFarlane Toys Dark Tide Warhammer 40K artist proof. So basically a blank figure of an action figure that is available painted. But I purposely went after this, and because I wanted to try my hand at building my own custom Joe, this Canadian guy I'm calling Bull. And I had a concept of a heavy armored soldier. That was basically it. You saw in the photos, I pulled up pictures of what heavily armored assault soldiers wore, as far as extra add-on armor, head protection, things like that. I did consider putting a shield on him. I even built the shield. I didn't like the shield. I got rid of the shield, but I did build other custom weapons for him. But that's what I was originally working with. And down here, we'll just pan the camera down and I'll show you how he ended up, and introduce you to my custom Joe Bull. So there he is there with, I got him with Shockwave and Mutt, about to do a breaching training exercise kind of deal. But that's not the best camera angle we can do that at. Let's put him right up top here, and I'll just move him up so you guys can see. And this is where something falls and you guys do 2 shots, right? But we haven't done that. So yeah, he's essentially, I have him as the heavy assault trooper that I wanted. I gave him that custom thumper gun, or not gun, pardon me, custom door thumper. It's basically a door smashing breacher. And I made it more like a new, like a electrically charged impact multiplier kind of thing, right? So I'm going to put the camera in closer as we go, but that was the one custom weapon I did keep, or custom tool or accessory that I did keep out of several things I attempted. So as I move the camera towards them, I'm just going to tell you some lessons I learned, just quick little snapshots for anybody who is like me and wanted to make the first attempt at doing at doing something like this. I got my tips. I don't know. It was a learning experience, so I'll just move the camera up a little bit. We'll just go over here while I read them. So the first one I learned was something I carry over from the military. It's part of our gunfighting drills. It's slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And it ties in with having max patience, right? Max patience. I rushed quite a few things here, and as a result, I had to redo a couple of things. And in hindsight, although I am calling it done, there are things I probably will go back, touch up, redetail. But overall, as far as his level of priority right now, he's done. So slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And guys, if you are liking these videos, and what I'm going with here with the figure reviews and the conversions and the Joe talk, you know, just all the things on the side, like, share, subscribe, get that notification bell. participate in the comments and participate in the contest, the 200 contest and the upcoming 350. We're getting really close to the 200 contest, and that's where we're giving away a fig, and I've talked about that in other videos. But over on the back, we did some changes. There was a plan to put a heavy weapon on him that was dependent on getting some 3D parts from our friend Loki Wartooth. But I know if things got busy over the holidays. I still have faith they'll show up, but I wanted to progress with this differently. And I realized if I was doing the heavily armored trooper, I don't necessarily need him to have a big ass gun. There was a more sensible role in urban operations and SWAT kind of stuff in breaching. So one of the things I had to go back and do is change his vest, and I'm still not 100% content with that vest. Sorry, I'm not getting a good job of getting it into focus, but there, we'll do that. Those mag pouches on the breast, I felt like the straps were a bit weak. The name tag with the ball is going to get a repaint at some point, but overall, for a first attempt at doing something like this, and throwing in some custom art on there, like around the boot area, doing like a mix of graffiti and decal work, just having fun, guys. All it was this was a project to see what I could do, having fun doing it. I learned a lot about disassembling this figure after I had started painting it. When I bought the second one, the one I'm doing the Crimson Guard Immortal custom with, or the variant, or whatever you were going to call it. But I think the most fun I had with it was trying to come up with features, and that was a lesson I learned, guys. One of the lessons I'm learning, where it's risk versus reward on features, man. Like you can have a lot of great ideas, and not all of them have to come to light, and sometimes they won't make sense after you've done them and you see them on the figure. And that's the case with the shield on this one. When I did that shield, it just didn't work. It was too big. Yeah, I had it magnetized like I do with the rifle, but it still just didn't feel right for the character. So some other things I learned was waste nothing when you're clipping parts and making things work. All of your scrap may eventually become something you actually really need. I found that out with the little springs from some hooks I was using off of a jewelry set of some sort. Those springs, if they're showing up here, those little coils I found became invaluable. Same as magnets from rolling papers. Because some companies have rolling papers that have magnets in them, and those magnets are amazing for modeling. So lots of rolling papers. I wonder why I need those. It's none of your business. All right, so back to him. I did that custom base there, just using some modeling texture paper. I just cut the circles. I'm actually making quite a few of them, just for the future custom Joes I have planned. But the rifle thing was magnetized. Like I said, I can just pluck that off if I want and just leave it like that. I'll do it from this angle because it's better. This is a really precarious. So this is what I was talking about risk versus reward. I'm feeling very little reward over the visor, aside from it kind of looks a bit technical. I was able to do a little bit of detail to make it kind of look resilient, I guess. But I was not happy with the wireframes, and the fact that I can remove it is fine. But it's putting it back on is the pain in the ass, which I'm not going to go through in this video. It's a lesson learned, right? Risk versus reward. Maybe I shouldn't have even tried to work that in there or used a different approach. But where risk and the reward paid off for me, I think, was the helmet and the helmet cam. If we can get yeah, the helmet cam, I think, just overall, making a bump helmet out of the original design helmet, which, just to refresh, it was just this flat Imperial Guard design from the Warhammer 40k series, and I was able to kind of do a lot with it using my green stuff putty, my compound putties. This neck guard thing is detachable. If I pop the head off, I won't pop the head off here. But I felt it lent to the heavy armor part. Like I said, I was trying to steer away from doing a tripwire repeat. I tried to do a little bit of texturing and detailing with it. I don't think I'm really happy with the neck piece, but I'm content enough that it was a good learning experience. Again, like I said, that's what this was really about. But bit of weathering, game went on to the uniform a bit, and yeah, that is Bull, my Canadian G.I. Joe. So I know I said I would probably do a file card for him at some point. I have a lot of art projects on the go, but as I see it, the file card would only be the explanation as to why he's got the big scar across his face that I put on there. I don't know if it shows up that well in this. Let me tilt the light up and see if that helps. But I did put some scarring over his eye. I believe it's his right eye. There it is. Just to give him a bit of a backstory, some character to it. But anyways, as far as a file card project goes, I might very well do that after I get maybe one or two more of my custom Joes. And like I said, it's the Red Devil Company. It's a homage to the Devil's Brigade from World War II, the mix of Canadian and American soldiers that were task forced together in World War II. I felt that was a good enough homage to do that, and I got my little crow thumper there. Again, pretty happy with how it all turned out. It's not perfect, but it's as good as I've ever done for a first attempt on a new medium like this, and it was, what's the word? Inspiring. I wanted to do more right away, right? Like, you've seen it, guys. I have stuff set aside, and I have plans, and I've talked about it, but yeah, that's pretty much it was a gateway drug as far as doing conversions and characters, right? So let me just pop him down back down to the display there. We'll put him back where he was. See if he stands there. You can see that textured materials, right? Like these are sold at local game stores or hobby stores, model shops. Guys who's done any modeling have seen these before. So I'm using them for the custom base for him. And I always envisioned that he would pair well with these two for breaching operations and urban operations and assaults and things like that. It was always kind of the goal to have them stand out uniquely with them, but at the same time, belong to that group. So as far as other lessons go, no, I'll just leave it in there. Let me put this back on the mount. Oh, there's my big old hand, y'all. There we go. Just focus on that. I'll tell you about the last few lessons I learned, I guess. Bouncy camera. All right. Good enough for government work. All right, so other lessons I learned, guys, respect the subtle sculpts at play. With every figure that I'm attempting, I'm trying really hard to try and see what the original render looked like, because most of them are coming painted now, besides these artist proofs that I'm working with. And so I'm trying to also respect where they've put in their detail. A lot of like, where are the seams in the shirts and the pants, and where can you divvy up a pattern? Where can you change color, or where do you have to transition it from a wash and things like that? Like, these are all learning experiences. So that goes with having max patience too. I have to learn more about that, and more trial and error is going to happen, right? The big thing I'm about, like, and I think that I have this in common with my buddy there, Aaron, and Toy Answer, is I picture a world which makes sense for the things that I'm doing, right? And in a world that makes sense for this guy, that's why I had to justify a Canadian explanation for it. But when I'm creating a guy from scratch, and you start getting really into the putting the kit, getting the kit together, getting the plan together, all of that stuff, at some point you can lose sight of who it was you were envisioning, right? So I had to keep coming back and asking the character, like, who is this character, right? And that led to me having to tone down a lot of his graffiti that I was planning to do, because I was also wanting to do a very big old country Albertan kind of character. For you US guys, that would be more like your Texan or whatnot, or as close to as Texan as Canada gets, a very polite Texan, with different guns. But let me see if this is going to do better so I can just finish up here today. We'll just move them there. But yeah, you got to keep coming back and asking yourself, like, what were you trying to accomplish at first, and where did it end up? And are you still on track? And there was some times with this character, I lost track with the painting or the graffiti, the vest, the shield. But what a blast it was figuring out, like, hey, it's better that you figured this out right now and took your time doing it. And that was the other big thing. I keep coming back to that max patience. Letting protectorant set so that you can reassemble it. You know, that's not a 6 hour process. That's a few days of waiting, right? And so as you're waiting, you got to hold off the urge to add or change something, right? And you know, I threw this together today because we were on officially day 3 finally of it all having set. And I was glad. I was glad I held off doing more things and I moved on to other projects. So that's going to be the pace of the future projects. Is we're going to go and move on to a couple more figures. We have them lined up over here. We've got the and you've seen them before, so I'm not really going to do it. But this guy's going to be my custom Zap to finish out my 82. And that was, of course, the Rick Flag Suicide Squad. And then I have a Yelena Belova Black Widow with a Tiger head that I'm going to do up as a pilot for my Tempest helicopter thing. So that's pretty much the video for as it stands, guys. You can see I've got the next one for the Crimson Guard Immortal that I'm going to be doing here. Pardon me while I tweak my lighting, eh? But yeah, this will be the next guy, and I expect to learn even more doing this one than I did on the last one. But I'm going to try and keep this even simpler than what I did with Bull. But I hope you liked the video. Thanks very much for supporting my creativity and the interest you've had in the subject. And don't forget to stick around, like, share, subscribe. Let's grow this channel up a little bit so I can get to giving away stuff. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.